everybody wants to start talking about transfer window, so just to be contrary, I'm not going to. Can we talk about the pitch? We had a really interesting conversation down at the stadium this week with the ground staff about everything that's been going on. Clearly there's been money invested, and clearly that's incredibly important. Can you just sum up for us the difference it makes to have a surface
well, you could see it the last 2 seasons we've been here. We've got to, I can remember there was a Youth Cup game on it one night when it was banging it down. I think we played Wrexham at home last year, and it just never recovered. And it's not about having grass on the pitch and having grass coverage, it's about it being flat and level and holding firm, and we've just not had a pitch that's done that. So yeah, and it shows everything's progressed, everything does progress in football, and yeah, we were the only team in the league not to have some sort of deso artificial stitch pitch, and its job's just to hold firmer when the weather turns, and instead of it ripping up and becoming bobbly, it just plays flatter, whether you've got the grass on it or not. Because once the roots bind with the stitch in, it just holds firmer. So yeah, really important that we've got it done and we're up to speed. I think they had done some research about the possibility of it leading to certain injuries as well over the time. Not sure in our time here if that was the case, but it has been proven. Yeah, so good. We trained on it on Tuesday. It's not quite, grassy firm up over the next 2-3 months. It's not quite where it should be, needs to be, but for 7-week-old pitch, they're really pleased with it and happy with what they've got done so far. So yeah, good.
You've explained the sort of practicalities of it really well there. Is there an element that it's psychological as well? If you're not confident that it's playing true before you play a pass or something, do you second guess?
Potentially, because it's like, you could say, yeah, you get used to the pitch, which you can, so you could change your way totally. That's to them. We need totally different players. Leave Alfie and Dobbo out and don't try and play between the lines. So we couldn't do that. And then if you are just playing on it once in a while, because it's not the amount of bobbles you get, it's that apprehension. And when it is your pitch, you're playing it, you're waiting for that one. You don't want to be the one who lets it go under the foot, who goes to play it that way and it bobbles up and you miss it totally. You don't want to be that player. So I think there certainly is that, as much as you try and, I was going to say talk about, that's the wrong word, as much as you acknowledge it but try and don't use it as an excuse, I don't think you can ignore it because we saw it too often.
Is there something to be said generally in football about being able to be instinctive like that, being able to trust your judgment? And we often talk, don't we, about that player's had too long
that's
to
what it
think
is.
about
Yeah,
it.
that's what it is. You get in your words flow, in state, whatever you want to call it. It's the same as a team when you're in a team. Once you can get a good way of playing and you've got that familiarity with your teammates, and whether you talk about individual touch and contact on your ball, individual technique, but it goes further than that. So yeah, definitely, and that's what we need to work towards. That pitch, forget that now. Not an issue, won't be an issue. But it's the same impact when you're talking about signing players, creating new teams, squad, that type of thing. So yeah, it's a big thing, that just becoming really familiar and in the groove.
I know you've spoken before and after recent games a little bit about different systems and bringing players in that are able to play that. Does that all roll into the same thing, giving yourself more options, giving yourself more ways to play? If those external factors that are outside of your control do go against you, you can go, we can change it.
Yeah, well listen, we could change it last year, but I think, I'm not talking about changing too much. We want to play a certain way, but it's just more about, can we sign wingers, can we sign wide players and play with a back four? Too much is made about formations, but we're in the middle of, confusion is the wrong word, but for me, just the shape is how you defend. When you've got the ball, you should not look like a 4-4-2 or 3-5-2, 5-3. You don't stand in straight lines, you go and play. So yeah, too much is made about from that instance, but yeah, so it's just more, you think, pick any game last year, we potentially defended with a 5, but when we pressed we were a 4, and it's about us then when we did have the ball and playing higher. You could see it in pre-season. This season we'd have Paul and Andy on the last line because that's how we played, and their full-backs really, they much prefer being in wider positions coming onto the ball. So it's about, can we get more attacking players on that top line? So that's what we're trying to recruit.
I know you want to do more in the market. I think every manager in history wants to do more in the market. How feasible is it at the moment? I know you've spoken about trying to get as much value for money from the money you've brought in as possible.
We've still got a lot to do. So we're a long way away from being finished. We're really short of numbers. You look at the players who've left since January, for example, we've not replaced anywhere near enough. I'm not saying we need the exact numbers of last year. I'd rather have more quality, less numbers, but we're still well down.
Yeah, that's got to be something that's constantly being thought about and worked on, hasn't it? I guess it's more difficult now when you've got games to prepare for as well. But
this is where it's horrible as a manager. I must admit, it's my least favourite bit of the job. These games now till the end of the window, you've not got enough hours in the day. You need other people to sort of step up, and you rely on a lot more people.
How much does the fact that it goes on till the 1st of September or whatever it is, and the Premier League hasn't started yet as we're having this conversation, come into it? The fact that loan players will have been away on tour, they're not available for loan, but in a week's time or 10 days' time, suddenly they will be available.
Yeah, there might be. So that's it. Listen, I think this stage last year we were probably just doing Dobbo. We did Alfie before last game, and we only did Harrison then on the last day of the window. But we need more than that right now in terms of numbers. So it's going to be a tough last two weeks.
I know the couple that came in very close to the game at the weekend. You were happy that you got done, and in one case, really happy you were able to get Leo on the pitch. Yeah. Will they only get better for having more time around the place and more time working with you and Stuart McCall and the players?
Yeah, and just settling into the players, and like I said, we're trying to recruit a certain type of player, a certain way to play a certain way, but until that window closes, I don't know exactly what we're going to look like. So, but in the meantime, we've got to try and win games, and they'll certainly help us do that. Really pleased with them, their quality, them as players. So I think they're two really good signings for us.
Could further departures free up funds to allow you to do more, or is that numbers wise something you're looking to avoid because you haven't got very many?
100% both, but we priority is getting in, not out. We're way down on numbers. When we're coming in, we've got 7 games in the next 3 weeks. If we did manage to get past Everton, that goes to 9 games in 4 weeks. It don't get any busier than that. And at the minute, we've not got the numbers, the squad size to cope with. That's the wrong word, because you do cope with it, but to attack that in the best possible way. If you were going to come into this type of period and you were going to say what numbers you wanted, what positions you'd want, you were a long way from that. So we will cope, we will attack the games, but that's the difficulty of it in this stage when the window's still open and you've still got a lot of work to do, but you're in a really hectic time.
I know of old, Paul, that mentioning specific names to you doesn't necessarily work particularly well, but for the benefit of everybody watching and listening, there's been a bit of talk about Osmajic and interest from Italy this week, and a bit of speculation. Yeah. There's a lot of speculation in the window. Is it just speculation, that one?
No, there's been contact, there's been chat about that. Listen, he's in the last year of his contract, I know that, and I know there's a business side to it. So we'll have to see, but I said right now we're really low on numbers. We need to get them in before we get them out, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Is it, like we said before, a balancing act between if you get a really good offer, you might have to do without for a couple of weeks in order to get more in, but if it's not the kind of offer that...
Yeah, I don't think so. I think there's always a valuation. Business side of it is if you don't cash in these next 2 weeks, more than likely he'll go on a free transfer and leave. So there's a valuation on him in terms of what the club would be happy with and accept. That's ultimately what it comes down to. Like, can you afford to let players leave on free transfers, or do you try and cash in and get money in the coffers, if you like? But then from my point of view as a manager, it's all right doing that, money in the coffer, but how much of that can be spent now? Are the replacements any good? But then, so there's a valuation on a player. Are a club going to meet it? And then there's the scenarios of, can that benefit you now? in this window, or do you have to bite the bullet and use it in the next window type thing? So, yeah, we'll see.
And specifically just on that, there's been conversations, there's been an inquiry, but that valuation's not been there.
I don't know.
It's pretty clear. I heard you having a chuckle after Bolton with Andy about embargo and not being able to talk about Mills. Are you still gagged?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say, is there?
Game-wise, Wolves, does it stand to reason that if you're a team that's come down from the Premier League, you'll be amongst the front runners for any championship season, regardless of what changes you made?
Yeah, I think in terms of talent, ability, squad size, resources, maybe expectation, all these things, and history would say that you should be one of the favourites, but it's no guarantee. We saw that last year, it's no guarantee. And yeah, so we have to make sure that we just approach the game in a way that suits us to give us the best chance. But we're playing against a really strong squad for this division, and who'll fancy themselves to be up there, and we have to try and capitalise and make sure we did what we did to Ipswich last year, Leicester last year, teams that come down and favourites, and they were at that time, and Wolves rightly so were up there in a lot of people's eyes as well.
Does it help playing them earlier in the sense that they might not have adjusted to Championship football yet, or do you look at the squad and go, actually they've still got loads of Premier League players that might be gone in September?
Yeah, I'm more bothered about us and where we are, like, do you know what I mean? So that's it. I cannot influence what other teams do, the prep, the squad size, their recruiting can't, but it's more bothered about where we are in terms of how far on we think we are.
And just in terms of yourself, you were pretty clear the other day about the defending and how unhappy everybody was it? Particularly yourself, obviously. Is that something that's been emphasised? You're not going to be able to defend like that if you want to do anything in the Championship. Is it not quite back to basics, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, really poor goals, and then there's a chance second half. I think it was their best chance. It was a long ball really, because we'd not organised, dealt with it, and they were the 3 moments in the game. Yeah, that's it.
And you just ask for an improvement, do you? Is it just a case of what you're capable of?
If it's that easy, we could all do it, couldn't we? Just ask for it and it happens. So no, it's nothing to do with asking. People make mistakes, but we made some bad decisions.
And I suppose that mental side of it, decision making and the choices you make, is that harder to coach than technical stuff, tactical stuff?
No, not really. But it's back to your point when early on you spoke about, I can't remember the word you use, uncertainty, and I spoke about being in a groove flow. Sometimes things become really easy. If I thought we looked wary and edgy first half. I really did. I didn't like us at all. Second half were much better. And that's not talking about the goals. I just thought as a performance, as a team, how you want to play. I thought we did look a bit uncertain.
And just personnel-wise, is there anything to note in terms of people being available, not available? I know Thierry was on the bench and came off the bench the other day, which must have been
great. Yeah, T's back. That's it. That's as it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
How close is Belpots away from being
Don't know. Yeah, don't
know. In terms of the pitch, players who were training on it earlier this week, how much did they enjoy sort of being back on a Deepdale pitch and with the upgrade as well?
Yeah, but we'll not. I said it's not where it will be. It's just nice. We know it's been done. But we got used to it because there is a little bit of give in it. It's not. We know it's not where it's going to end up being. So if you talk about playability, probably this time last year, it was firmer, it was faster, things like that. But we know that the previous pitch, this would have been the best it was ever going to get. We know with this pitch that over the next few months it'll get better and then should hold and play much better in those dodgy months as well, and then it should be irrelevant if we get this busy period again during January, February, March. We should have a surface that's comparable to whether we play home or away.
How pleased are you with how Yusuf Arabi's adapted to English football? I imagine pre-season probably would have helped quite a lot as well.
Yeah, got him in early, didn't we? So he was one of the first ones, so he gets to know the players. Got involved in a couple of the games. and settled in well. But nothing helps you settle as good as getting goals, and for him to get, obviously the first goal for him was against Huddersfield, and then he scored a penalty in that one as well. And then for him to get the goal of the weekend and a good goal as well, then nothing helps you settle like that.
Yeah, there's been links, obviously, you know, that you won't say anything on these players, but there's been links to Tom Cannon and Cameron Archer, a couple of other players as well. Whether Osmarich leaves or not, would you like sort of more experience up front in terms of championship experience for strikers, players who maybe scored 10-15 goals a season elsewhere?
Players who scored 10-15 goals a season cost a lot of money. We're well down on players. We recruited then, Harry came in, Leo, midfield, probably still another four players or so without, you know, going, and they're for me are more at the top end of the pitch. So we need options, we need quality. I want to play if we can't. Like I said, we'll know what we end up with when the window closes. But right now we're trying to recruit to try and build a totally different team, and we're not going to stop until that window shuts.
And you're at the under-21s game the other night. How much did you sort of enjoy watching that? There's been a couple of new players who've come in from other clubs, Isaac Irwin, Finlay Cameron, as well as that. There's been quite a few fans who would like to see more academy players blooded into the first team. How confident are you that the academy players maybe can make that step up this season?
Well, I've got to show it. Simple. That's it. You pick your best players. There's never a ceiling. I think in every single club I've been at, I've given more debuts than any other manager they've had. But players have got to be good enough. Simple. And we have to make sure that as a club there's the right programme and right opportunities for them to develop and be pushed. You know, you can't go from having a Conference North loan to then thinking you're going to play in the Championship. You just can't do it. And I'd be stupid to do that just because people want young lads to be in the team. We've got to be good enough, because no matter what anyone says, we've got to try and be a winning team. That's it. But I think from day one I spoke about trying to bridge that gap, recruiting better, getting the games programme better, getting the loan opportunities better. But then it's up to the players when they get the loan opportunities. They've got to be the best players, so then they can get a higher one and develop that way, because it's a big step from their 18s, the 21s league, which they're playing in, to then jump straight into the Championship.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.